We're going to play this war of mine as the story Fading Embers today, and it includes a prologue and a cutscene which I'll leave in. So we're going to be looking at the best possible start over the next 7 or 8 days. Not saying I'll achieve it. Oh, he starts in a storm, you have to click forward, keep it moving. But we'll address some of the questions on how we could possibly get the perfect start along the way. So we might make some mistakes, but we'll see how we do. So we just keep him moving, and he eventually comes to a homestead. Now you need to know the way the story unfolds later on to be able to target how to start most optimally. And that is that we leave the house after about 8 days. So you don't want to build anything because everything gets left behind. But also, when you leave, you only get to take 18 stacks of whatever is in the house at the time. Everything else has to be left behind and is lost. So what you do over the first 8 days is try to make sure that when you do leave the house, you've only got 18 stacks to take, so that nothing is lost. So it means that you leave things on site at some of the locations that you visit, or you don't bring certain things back. So he keeps going until he finally gets to the homestead. So there are really oh, he ran a bit there. This is as fast as he goes. So the sort of mini quests of the first 7 or 8 days are keep him alive firstly, and that's not a guaranteed result because there isn't a random event where any morning he could be terminally ill, and after that he doesn't make it. I don't know what the probabilities of that are. I've only seen it once or twice, but it doesn't seem to be unavoidable. And in those circumstances, so this is Anja, who lives in the house. So they meet, and that's the prologue over. And then the game begins proper. So day 1 is a bit of a busy one. We've got limited time to do what we need to do. We basically do the usual thing of get all the piles and do a couple of other things that we need to do. So there's Ruben, as we find out his name is later, and this is Anja. So this gives us a little bit of a background, and as we saw, he just staggered into the house, and she's struggling every day to deal with those hardships. And we get going. So we've got a workstation and a bunch of piles, which we will proceed to get the stuff from. There's 2 up here, we'll get those in a minute. So it's winter, as you can see. If we want water, we have to make it at the cooker. So here's the cutscene where she visits her old grandpa. So many memories. And there's the toy Aurochs he sculpted for me. So I'll leave this in. Grandpa, you know, when I grow up, I'm going to be an artist just like you. Ha, I bet you are. Great talent runs in your veins. And you've got a lot of passion, that's for sure. Are you laughing at me, Grandpa? Oh, Anja, I wouldn't even dare. Actually, I've got something for you. Come, take a look. What did you sculpt? Is that a horse? Almost. That's a Visenian aurochs. Have you ever seen one of those before? No, but I think I've read about them in one of your books. Those aurochs used to live around Bogoran, right? Oh yes, on the steep slopes of the Visenian mountains. They used to guide and protect our people for ages. Then they became a symbol of our freedom. Here, take it. Can I keep it? Yes, it's yours now. But you have to take care of it. Just like the aurochs took care of Visenis in the past. So that's a little bit of a background. Your grandpa was an artist, and now... So we're not going to look at this pile today. We'll do that tomorrow, because we're a little bit short on time today. And I won't look at any of these things here either. Oops, I forgot to do it down here. Now we can also put some carrots on. I'm not going to do that today for a specific reason. Well, timing mainly. Because it gets a little bit tight. So let's just finish getting all the piles. We picked up a lockpick in the downstairs there near the carrot thing, which allows us to get this one. Now we've also got a heater here, but it's not upgraded. So come down. One thing we do need is food. So we're trying not to make anything, but this one's pretty unavoidable, and that's a cooker. So you look at him here. Well, we'll do that in a minute as soon as this is finished. Now I know I need some wood, so I'm going to do that straight away. So we're going to use these to start with. I'll finish that in a minute. Now you look at him, he's very hungry, so we're going to try and keep him above the very hungry status. And maybe this is something I need to experiment with. If we get rid of the hungry status completely, maybe that reduces his daily chance of going into terminally ill to 0. Maybe that's the issue. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep him hungry. And all I'll do if I come back one morning and he's terminally ill, then I'll just restart the day and he goes back to severely ill most of the time. So she's finished, so oops, we need to click on her. So yeah, sorry, we need to cook 2 meals. So normal, this war of mine mechanics, I'm just not eating till day 5, but we want to keep this guy away from very hungry, so we're going to feed him. Okay, so now I'm going to do the rest of the wood here. Now by the end of the day we need to keep this at maximum, because if you read this here it tells you that you need to keep the temperature above 10 to stop from freezing, and for his health you absolutely need to do that. So we need to top this up to 6. So right now we've only got 7 and we potentially need a couple more. So what I'm going to do is use these and go 3 more. So that gives us plenty. So if you want to get technical, I guess, you know, for the perfect start, it's just a question of did I make 1 wood too many there at this stage? I'm not sure. And the other question is, should I have got the carrots going today or not? Which I think we can do because we have wood. So, no, I'm not going to do it today. It's an option though, it's a debatable one. So let's just look here. So the dual quests in the first 8 days, you've got all these things here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got a bunch of artwork and valuables. But you could turn them into fuel. So I could get 3 fuel there. Could get 8 there for burning, basically burning the paintings. 5 there for burning this. These 2 you can't, oh this one you can. So what we're going to try and do is not burn any art. So the dual objectives are save him and save all of the art. And that's what we're going to try and do. So 6 p.m. So max this out. Again, for perfect efficiency, the timing of maxing this out and how much wood you make, that's up for debate, I guess. So. But this works, so this is what we'll do. I don't think it makes too much difference in the very long term. We can add another one there. So we got up to 9. I don't think it goes up to 10 if it's not upgraded. But if you read this here, this extremely cold weather, to make sure we don't freeze to death overnight, if we manage to keep the temperature above 10 we should be alright. But this actually doesn't give you the option on the first day. So there's really not much we can do there because we got the heater maxed out. But nobody dies even though it is to 10, okay. Last time I didn't see that go over 9, so maybe that's a timing thing. Right, so now we've got the neighbor's house and we've got the construction site. Now if you go to the construction site you need a saw blade, and we don't have one. If you get a saw blade then you can get access to what you need to upgrade the heater, but you can get one here. So that suggests that this is the option that you want to do. But not only that, so we're going to take her out. He can only sleep, of course. And then we prepare. We look at this. Now, if we do put some carrots on, the only use we've got for this is trade later on. So I'm not going to take anything with me right now. But I do know that I need 6 of these. Because you get to leave this little homestead on about day 8, and you only get to take the 18 stacks. So if you're left with 1 or 2 of these on day 8 when you leave the house, then you just leave them behind and they're lost. Whereas if you leave them somewhere in a location, you can go back and get them later on. So that's really the how to optimize the start, by not leaving things behind in the house later on. But for now we need 6 wood and we need 1 of those, and then we go scavenge. So usual thing, you've got your piles and everything. Just grab all those. Tito the neighbour is up there, and we'll talk to him in a minute. On our way, just grab all this stuff. So we got full there. I normally use the fridge to make a pile, but I don't have that option. So I'm just going to make a pile here. We need that. You got plenty of time tonight because it's a small location. And we need the wood. So here you've got the option to steal some things, but really there's water and there's really no point. There's nothing you really need there. You've also got a door here. Now you can get through there with a lockpick or a crowbar later in the game, and you get a bunch of components out here. I think it's 22 components. So this is a location which you might want to come back to later on if you're in need of those things. So let's just talk to him. So cold, Andrew, is that you? Please, I need your help. I need something to heat my place. I've already burnt everything I had. I'm running out of fuel too, but I tried to figure something out. You could visit the Samuel Institute, and there are good folks working there. So that unlocks this location now. Another reason for coming here. They're helping our community and used to help me from time to time. But I haven't seen them for a while. I hope nothing happened to them. I'll see what I can do. Please, if you don't find anything. I know you're collecting things in your shed, and I know I shouldn't ask, but maybe you could spare some things from this collection. It's a matter of life and death at this point. So he needs 6 wood, which is why we brought the wood. So we give that to him. Thank you, you're saving my life here. I know it wasn't easy. Please take some things from my desk. I'll do it. I don't do it for the reward, but I'll try to help you, and I hope you'll get better. So you request fulfilled, and you get an achievement there, being neighborly or something. So there you get to take his vinyl records, a true music, and collected many unique records over the years. The music of these long out-of-print albums reminds him of better times before the war. So this is something else that you get to save for later in the game. So there's really nothing else to do here right now. Except there is another conversation to be had with him. So I think he needs to do a few things first. So just dump everything. Because he eventually asks you for this. You gotta wait for the dialogue option to pop up. Oh, there it is. It's still chilly, but I'm better now. Thank you, Anja. I'm glad you're feeling better. Is there anything else you need? The fuel you brought me should last a few days, but I need some food to recover. Alright, Tito, I'll see what I can do. And this is why we brought the piece of meat. So you give that to him. You're such a kind person. That's so rare these days. That's fine, I just wanted to help. And you just gotta wait for a little bit, and I think you have to have another conversation. Then this opens up here. A pile opens up to be looted right there. So I'm not sure why it doesn't, or why it keeps not opening up, but maybe you just... I've got absolutely no idea if this makes any difference, but maybe you just go away, come back, and finish the conversation with him again. But the conversation seems to have stopped, and then it's almost like he'll only do this a little bit later on, which is kind of weird. It's not popping up either. Oh, there it is. Finally, I have some things hidden in the cabinet. So that can take some time, as you just saw. I've got no idea why it's kind of delayed like that. Maybe the intention is that you leave this area and don't know that this happens, but this is what we really wanted there. Just take everything. Right, and this is where what you do next gets a little bit questionable. So I'm not saying this is the best thing to do, but it is a thing to do. Now, do we make 8 carrots or not? If we do, we take that. Otherwise, we leave it behind. We'll take this. So we do not take this. We do not take this. We do not take this. We'll leave all that behind to come back for later. We do not take this, this, and I'm going to leave this behind as well. We do not take that. Oops, sorry. I said we don't take that. Start again. Leave, 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 leave. So the only thing I actually want are those 2 things from here. And even this is questionable about whether I take it or not. I'm going to take it because I'm not quite sure how many components I need. I can turn components into wood if absolutely necessary. And I know that I do need some components to upgrade the heater. And I'm going to leave everything else behind because I don't think I need it. And that's where we go. We'll end the episode there, and we'll pick it up in day 2 in part 2, and I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.